Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to Speak Up! Oh, yes. Oh, man, it is so wonderful to have so many people here tonight. Thank you so much for coming out on this Thursday evening, on this eve of International Women's Day. Happy almost International Women's Day, y'all. My name is Katie Ailes. This is Annie Rutherford. We did not, in fact, coordinate our outfits in advance.
We're just that cool.
We are just that cool, apparently. Folks, we are so excited to have everyone here for this event this evening, this special fundraiser event. And it's fantastic to see a lot of new faces and some familiar faces. So guys, give me a cheer if you have been to a Loud Poets event before. Nice, healthy. Give me a cheer if this is your first ever Loud Poets event. They're always so timid. They're like, how loud exactly are we talking? Like, how loud are these poets? Whether it is your first time, whether you've been a million times, thank you so much. And if you are an LP regular, you may be thinking, this is a little different. You know, we're upstairs. It's a Thursday. Kev's over there. These people have taken over. What is happening?
Which Kev does not feel great about.
Yeah. So tonight is a little bit different. Tonight is a special fundraiser event, and it is an event that Annie and I have put on together. So Annie and I have known each other for, I think, since I have lived in Scotland, which is coming on 10 years.
It's terrifying.
It is a little bit terrifying. And we are both poets in the scene. We are both event organizers in the scene. We are both people in this beautiful and complicated and wonderful Scottish poetry scene. But we had never actually put on an event together. You know, we often work with each other in a range of capacities, but we had never made something together. And in the last couple of weeks, you know, we were chatting a lot. We were sort of setting the world to rights, as you do, looking at the news and reflecting on various things. And a few themes were emerging, and we were like, International Women's Day is coming up, Annie. You want to run a gig together, Annie? And here we are. So welcome to International Women's Day, guys. Welcome to Speak Up. Annie, what have those themes been? What have we been talking about that led to this event this evening?
I mean, you don't want to know the half of it. It's a good question, isn't it? It feels like it's a lot at the moment. And it feels like there are so many possibilities going on that are really exciting and so full of hope. And so many possibilities that are really terrifying. And I stopped myself swearing there because we're at the beginning of the gig. But we wanted to speak to both of those things. We really wanted to celebrate the amazing feminist and queer community that we have built up in the Scottish literary scene, and that is full of so many diverse voices and diverse stories. And there are so many fantastic poets out there, some of whom are here tonight, some of whom are reading, some of whom have come along to support. Thank you to all of you. And through these diverse voices and these diverse stories, we get to transform the world subtly. We get to embrace new versions of what can be and what should be. And yeah, at the same time, things are pretty darn scary. So, you know, across the world, reproductive rights feel like they're not quite as safe as they definitely were 5 years ago. Transphobia seems to be getting its claws into more people. And the tower that Me Too seemed like it was toppling seems to not be going anywhere. Thank you very much. It's quite happy where it is. So sometimes it feels hard to know what to do in the face of discrimination, in the face of another bad news story, another person we care about being hurt. But what we do have is our voices. And so to smoosh together two wonderful quotes by Audre Lorde and Rebecca Solnit, we know that our silence won't protect us. So let this flood of women's stories never cease. When we see injustice, we speak up.
So that is what tonight is about. It is about speaking up. It is about holding truth to power and recognizing some of the crap that we are going through. But most of all, it's about celebrating. It is about celebrating this kick-ass scene that we find ourselves in. So thank you so much for being here with us for it. And it's also really important to us and really empowering tonight to be supporting a really important cause. So we are raising money tonight for Edinburgh Rape Crisis. They are an incredible, incredible organization that is inclusive and that does really, really important work. So they offer free and confidential emotional and practical support, information, and advocacy to survivors aged 12 and up on a wide range of issues. And they not only provide support, but they also do the sort of prevention work that is so, so vital around sexual violence. They are inclusive. Their services are open to people of all genders. And because of that, they have faced abuse, they have faced backlash, and they've also faced massive funding issues. Yesterday, they had to close another one of their services. So we are here tonight supporting them, helping them to support more people. When you guys bought a ticket, you supported them. If you buy a snazzy badge over at the merch table, you support them. Annie and I pooled together a lot of our badges because we were like, it's a feminist night. It should have badges. And we were like, we don't have any badges.
We have so many badges.
So please do rifle through the incredibly eclectic badge collection over there. But over by the incredibly eclectic badge collection, you will also find merch from some of our poets, which leads me on to the very smooth segue. Annie, who are our poets tonight?
So we have a number of fantastic poets tonight. We've got an open mic and also 6 feature sets. So that is JJ Fadaka, Alice Tarbuck, RJ Hunter. Oh, I should slow down so that Katie can whoop.
I just like whooping again at everyone. Yeah, okay. Start again. Let's give these guys their flowers. Yeah.
JJ Fadaka.
Yeah.
This is how you know that I do page poetry events.
And I just yell.
Alice Tarbuck.
Yeah.
RJ Hunter.
Yeah.
Amy Jo Phillip. JL Williams, and Georgia Bartlett-McNeil.
Hell yeah!
So we're going to hear from these 6 fantastic feature poets, as well as a number of wonderful open micers. Huge thanks to everyone who is sharing their words tonight. We're going to start off with a poem from Katie to warm us all up, particularly, you know, the still actually quite quiet poets among us. And then we're going to hear from JJ, Alice, and RJ. A lot of J's here tonight. We really thought about diversity when we were programming, but we didn't think about letters.
Not with the J's. So many J's, yeah.
After that, we'll have a short interval. Do use this as a chance to grab a drink from the bar, rifle through the eclectic badge collection at the merch table. And we are also taking further donations to our fundraiser. And after the interval, we'll hear from another lot of open micers, and then Amy Jo, JL, and Georgia. Little bit of housekeeping. Toilets are through that door there, and then in 2 different directions, one of which is that way.
Yeah, one's just there, and then they're more that way. I feel like an air steward.
As you can tell, I always use one of them. This is our main exit. If there are any issues, please form an orderly queue. But you can also get out through this door here. And do make sure you turn your phones to silent, just so that we are not interrupted while enjoying beautiful poetry.
That I can't help us with. No.
I mean,
it'll be an emotional crash, though. It will rhyme. I can promise that.
My flatmate is here, and every time I mention a poem, they're like, but does it rhyme? So, finally, just to note, we will be hearing a range of different voices tonight, a range of different issues and topics. They may be uplifting, they may be rage-inducing. We've got a variety of feelings in the room tonight, I think. So do what you need to look after each other. Poets, if you think you've got a poem that's maybe a little bit more distressing, do also just flag that up in advance. And without further ado, I think it's time to hear some poetry. So we're going to welcome our first open micers in a moment, but Katie, do you want to warm us up?
I will. The phrase warm us up feels a bit funny. I am roasty toasty just now. I don't know about y'all. We may try opening a window in the half because it is quite cozy here. But yeah, I will warm up the mic for us tonight. This is a poem that I wrote 9 years ago for Young Women's Movement Scotland, who's another absolutely brilliant inclusive feminist organization. And they were doing a program called Envision 2035, which was envisioning a far-off future. Definitely not only 11 years away. And they were thinking about what the lives of women would be like at that point. And I wrote this when I was 21, and I was like, oh, damn, what's this going to be? And I thought I could lean into the fears, I could lean into the anger, I could lean into all of my frustrations, or I could take a hopeful tack and imagine something different, which is really kind of what tonight is about as well. So this is a poem that I wrote for a one-day theoretical daughter, which I always feel like I need to say because I never used to caveat it. And then I would get a lot of really sweet old ladies after gigs being like, when are you due? I was like, oh no. So this is for my daughter. For my daughter, the day you are born, I will not baptize you in my fears. I will not swaddle you in my doubts, stunting you before you start to grow. I won't crease the furrow of my brow into the fresh skin of your face. I will not lace your tongue with apology, tingling with each breath. You will not be sorry for your words before you speak them. Daughter, I will not teach you that woman means follow, paces behind, that woman means shy. I won't wrap you in the caution, taping my thighs, the shame, climbing them together tight after late nights judged to be errors by others, keeping the score. I won't feed you the guilt I used to spice each bite with, each taste a sin against thinness. No, your body will not be a lead balloon, but a billowing sail. Your curves a sign of the journey you travel. I won't smear fears of ugliness onto your new skin for you to worry over as if it determined your worth, beautiful girl. I will not bequeath you my rage, although I will teach you why I needed it. Daughter, you will ask me why anthems are tattooed into my tongue, why protest songs boil up from my throat, why some days I shout too loud for anyone to know what I'm talking about. And I will tell you, darling, in our day, your mama knew she was a woman when she diluted her whiskey-proof speech into a watery, womanly whisper. Your aunt knew she was a woman when they read weakness into her kind smile. Our friends read woman in the bruises pressed into their skin by lovers who knew love as own and own as take. But you will know you are a woman when you spread your arms like girders and blare your voice like a trumpet, building bridges unbreakably strong, calling all to traverse troubles with you together. I will not let them prune you before you even begin into something smaller, quieter, meeker than you could be. You will not apologize for the air that you breathe, the space that you claim, the choices you make. And they will not fear you, but rejoice. Call you strong, not bitch, leader, not bossy woman, not slut, whore, slag, Jezebel. These names will be Oxford English old. Forgotten slurs burring the tongues of those who feared your boldness. You will sing in solidarity with sisters, across shades, across borders, across beliefs. You will remember their struggles just as you benefited from ours, and you will know. You will know that your hips are not a sieve for him to pan his future through, that your legs are not the gates to a paradise to which only she holds the key, that your tongue is not a record player for their old philosophies. Your body will not be currency, will not be cage, will not be thin skin plumb to burst, will not be trigger, will not be one stolen rib, but a whole skeleton dancing. You can use it like a tuning fork, use it like a fresh peach, use it like an anchor or a kite, use it like a hearth or an engine, because it is yours, yours, yours. And baby, if this body I shelled you in doesn't match your pearl, if your skin itches for new shapes, you will shift, morph into new forms, and I will love my new son all the more. And although, God damn it, I'm probably going to want grandkids, you will decide for yourself if mother is a title you will claim, knowing it is not a label you were born into, not an albatross wringing your neck with burden. It is a choice, just as you were mine. Because we readied this world for you, daughter. We stopped doubting that fathers could change diapers and that women could change boardrooms. We stopped asking mothers to hide while nourishing lives for the sake of hungrier eyes. We stopped seeing gender in pinks and blues, but a glorious sunrise, rich with hues. It isn't perfect, but it's a start. This is your world. We helped to build it, all of us, here, now. But it is yours. Reach out and grasp it, not gently, but full throttle, and make it your own. Cheers.
I can't believe that poem was written so long ago. That's terrifying. Thank you so much, Katie. We're going to hear from our first 3 open micers now. It's Annie Brecken first up, then Kylie Corwin, then Nicole Carter. You do not need to remember that. I will hop up and say everyone's name slightly awkwardly just before they read. But first of all, can I get a huge round of applause to welcome Annie to the stage?
Hello. Wow, first open micer. I hope I live up to the promise. I'm going to read a poem about kind of becoming a woman. It's called Red Jumper, and the subtitle is An Essay on Rural Puberty. So here goes. Mum thought I'd opt for soberer plum, but it was the scarlet chenille I grasped and hauled up to the counter, laying out my allowance in notes and coins back in the far-fetched days of cash. The world was small and I wanted to scream it. Red as mouths it was, as the kissing lips I couldn't taste yet. Red as Valentine's roses bought as a cruel joke. But I knew this red was my ally. You wouldn't take me out of there sober. You wouldn't take me off the moon of my delight. My red monthly's messy essence of woman, globby like braiding. I was a flag, my love, I was armies. All decided in an Ipswich shopping centre, under strip lighting and smeary chrome. You sure? She asked, and I replied yes, like Molly Bloom, flower of my own violent mountain, years before I read Joyce. And when I wore it, I was out-caged, wild like a puma on a suburban heath, the leash forgotten. My soul itself red as a lover is in the dark. What do you say, girl that was, who would leave the sober world behind for the circus of wine and lovers? Did I match your expectations? Thank you.
That was such a fantastic start to the evening, and I really appreciate that you read a poem about a jumper in such fantastic knitwear. I feel like we really got the best shot of the really... So good. Everyone get an eyeful of the cardigan. It's beautiful. Next up, we have Kylie. So Kylie... Yes, beautiful. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to read 2 poems. They're both about my friend Lauren. And I feel like we became women together, and she taught me a lot about myself. The first one is called Ruby, which I think I wrote when I was 23. Delphinium flowers are delicate, feathery like butterfly wings, and like butterfly wings, they are iridescent, incandescent, and irresistible. Blue and ultraviolet, you do not see their full color, but you can feel it. a sense, an inkling, like the way your gut feels love, and like the way your gut feels when the story is ending. Love is a ruby-throated hummingbird that crosses the Gulf of Mexico 500 miles during migration. Zungarua is a German compound word, Zung meaning migration, and Unruhe meaning anxiety and restlessness, especially when describing birds. Brine is water strongly impregnated with salt, crystals on my lips and on your cheeks. In the waves, I am weightless and humming in suspension. I am defenseless and anxious, a flicker, flit, and flash, a lullaby or rocking chair. You see me for a moment through a window, magenta and ultraviolet, but you do not trust my presence. The Bermuda Triangle swallows words. I am speechless. My throat is sore from not crying. It is red. I am a ruby. To cross the Gulf is a test of endurance, of passion, desire, longing, and love. If I die and if I don't, I promise to come back to you. In a dream or as a ghost, as a bird or as a ruby, as the wind and the grass, the ocean and shells, the moon and empty sky, the sun on your white gray quilt, the pine trees down the road behind your house, the lake and the snakes that hide. I am there and not, you know me forever. Will I find what I have lost, the missing color in my gut? Hear me, you know my color. Trust me and see the music. Our horizons are drifting together and apart. East becomes west if you travel far enough. Okay. So this is Ruby 2, and this is a sonnet. Okay. Fever dream of 23, you are there. My friend, my love, my comrade, my ruby. Our souls glow, our knowing is rare. Hummingbird flicks, you show me how to be. We look at different oceans, day, night. You know my secrets, fears, future, regrets. We speak on the phone, sun behind and bright. I know forgiveness, I do not forget. Fever dream of 28, we have grown. I am a girl with you, we swim in the lake. Until our lips are blue, cold to the bone. Look, a shooting star, a scared garden snake. Tell me what you want, tell me what you need. My heart bruises, infinitely I bleed. Thank you.
I really appreciate that everyone so far is leaning into the good jackets vibe. Yeah. And thanks so much for doing Poems for a Friend, because we don't have enough poems for friends. And I think so much of tonight is about the bonds that we build up between ourselves. Finally, our third open micer for this half, it's Nicole Carter. If you can please join us.
Massive trigger warning. I'll understand if you walk out because it's pretty graphic, but I'm just saying it for what it is, considering what the theme of tonight is. The statistics are fucking shocking. So that's the content warning. This is called Dichotomy, the dichotomy of rape versus ecstatic lovemaking. 2015, after 2 years of celibacy, I'm gagging for it. We met on Tinder. Him, monosyllabic, ex-Royal Navy, a hair away from being a caveman. Drinks, me teetotal, as usual. I thought I'd already learned the hard way. Red flags, his persistence, the bus stop, a gentle, reassuring kiss. His deceit, my stupidity. Back home alone, me gagging for it. His place, next day, luring me with tenderness. Then, the expert judo tackle. Pinned under him, I freeze, no chance against him. Excruciating pain of his cock bludgeoning my vagina, fingers gouging my arse. When will it stop? When will it stop? He withdraws, takes the condom off, starts wanking, then says, where do you want me to come? Where do you want me to come? Devious bastard. The only revenge I could think of, the best blowjob and swallow he's ever likely to have. His sigh grunt tells me this. Light, gentle flicks of my tongue up and down, slow at first, then full sucking lips and deep throat. I know what men like him want. The aftermath, when I realise what actually happened, the blood, the bruises, the incontinence, the morning after pill. The police officer says, I think you were lucky. I knew what he meant. Yet another stay in a locked ward, the shame, the guilt, the anger. I'd gladly have cannibalised his raw, dead flesh. 2018, we met at a poetry gig. We both wanted companionship, maybe more, with consent. Only after a month of art galleries, meals out, our mutual love of music, my hesitance, his maturity and experience. The questions we both asked, what do you want to do now? His gentle kisses on my inner thighs and breasts, gentle tongue on my clit until I come so hard, that exquisite release, then vaginal orgasms, the holy grail. Utter faith and trust in each other. Vastly better memories in comparison I will cherish forever. He was taken too soon by cancer, can never be replaced. Rest in peace, my gentle gentleman lover. You really knew how to handle a woman. So much more than a dick. The wrong man died. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for that really powerful sharing. Guys, can we have a round of applause for all of our open micers so far? We are going to have some more open micers in the second half, but before that, we are going to get on to our fabulous features. We have 3 features for you this half. We also, I just want to give a quick shout out. The incredible Elaine Gallagher was originally on the bill for tonight. Elaine is an amazing Glasgow-based poet and also a Green councillor, and she had a ward meeting organized for tonight to sort out the bins. So Elaine is sorting out the bins and sends her apologies, but she did send along a poem. It is a found poem that can be read on the table over there. I would highly, highly recommend checking it out. It is a found poem compiled from the tweets that she received when she stood for the first time for Westminster. So lots of interesting stuff in there and definitely worth a read. But guys, are y'all ready for your first feature tonight? Well, we shall get right to it. So I am not normally a person to read out bios, but this is such a beautifully written bio that I really want to read it because it feels almost a bit like a poem in its own right. So JJ Fadaka is a writer, facilitator, and radical based in Edinburgh. Her writing explores the possibility abolition, feminism, and love give us to create change. JJ uses poetry to speak to the political urgencies we face while centering community making and building the struggles against these. Guys, please give a very, very warm welcome to JJ Fadaka.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. I'm going to try and sit down. Thanks so much. Does that feel good? Yeah, that feels great. Thank you so much. Sorry, it had to be difficult. No, it's good. Thanks.
Oh, you just had to have your 5 minutes on stage, didn't you, Kev? There we go.
Thank you. Thanks so much to Loud Poets for having me and also for organising this. Edinburgh Rape Crisis Centre is, I think, a really valuable resource for people of all genders across the city, and I think it's absolutely damning that their budget would even be in question, that their resources would even be in question when our government finds money to spend on other things. So that's what my first poem is about. It's called War Machine. I wrote it this week, so I haven't really had a chance to edit it, but I don't know about everybody else. I appreciate events like this where we have an open mic and people can come and just speak their mind. But looking at the news and feeling so much rage, you kind of question, what can I do? What tools are around me? And I think Annie was so right in saying that storytellers, artists, poets, we can puncture the norm of speaking and like stop that silence, puncture polite conversation, polite society, puncture any thinking that things can go on as normal. So this is just my attempt at trying to get those feelings out. And yeah, I hope that some people can feel the same, what I'm feeling. So this is called War Machine. This ground, an unforgivable haven of polite society. What have we exchanged for OBEs, international law that marks humanity by territory? This soil is alienated from everything we need it to be. Fatality and sacrifice, every marriage ordained should feel compromised. Prime Minister, we cannot hear your calls for peace from behind the war machine. This is a reproductive struggle across the bloodstream river and dead sea of grief. They have stolen a life's work from a nation of mothers. Shame and riots cover this government. Their hands will never be clean. Use this moment to check your ambitions. Conservatism serves supremacy and hatred of anything that does not serve it. They do not really care for families. Palestinian children could tell you that easily. This is a time of monsters, violent forces trying to silence resistance to war machine democracy, trying to turn us cold in their image, trying to keep us complicit in the obscuring of oppressed and oppressor that has never been so weak. This poem is a call to become unfixed and reject the silence of the war machine. Every touch and affection has been compromised by over 30,000 loves lost, 30,000 martyrs and counting. Okay. The next poem I'm going to read is called The Other Mother. It is about seeing my mum grow up and do a lot of caring work, and also the nannies and women who did caring work that cared for me. It's about the fact that motherhood is not defined just by like your biological ties with somebody, but it's about the work that you put into making sure someone can continue their life, the care that you provide for others. So I think there's many mothers that have contributed to me being able to sit here today. And yeah, this is just about nannying, basically. There is a field of pink and white flowers growing alongside the railway, their smell locked behind the carriage glass. Heavy sighs miss the window, beauty passes by. I come from who persists, fenced in. Nighttime on the railways, traveling across a bridge between two worlds. The weight of life rests on the lap on the train tracks. Pink and white slopes away, blurs into the rose of a new baby's face. Who was never here officially was invited in. My other mother arrives to nanny me. Back wrapped with a newborn, hands like hearts full and out. The children play and rest. They make home anywhere. It's indistinguishable where the water broke for only one. Moon spins the block, another restless night. Bedtime stories from an old country with an adoptive name. How can they come to be so combined, land and life? Other mother's body feeds us a diligent labor of care, except on a prayerful day when she is let alone for sleep, self-cleansing and batch cooking. Black tax and IMF type thing, the way this money spreads. Makes it home twice a year, slowly threads a roof. A see you through the other side type thing, where we watch in fixedness, contradiction and capital reach the places we can't reach. 10 brown eyes blink slowly. A bus comes through the rain. Whenever there is a chance for the end of day, night shifts. Dreams arrive only in the space to think and sleep, so we fight time to dream. But when you've got no time, it means you spent time craving, like the distressed and distressing that rest behind your eyelids. In and out of consciousness, you rock them to sleep. Whilst mothers take the admiration, other mothers' children are at home, snoozing under football sheets, already wishing through the next day. Beauty escapes out the door before the 6 a.m. alarm, and she. Thank you. So I do have a pamphlet, but I don't have it here today because I'm not a very organized person. But you can get it from Lighthouse Books, Typewronger, and Argonaut Books. Thanks so much. What I did bring today was a transformative justice zine that I edited with writers and artists across Edinburgh, including people that work at the Edinburgh Rape Crisis Centre, which we're really grateful for. So there's a lot of articles and art pieces about solidarity amongst women, because, yeah, people think about International Women's Day, they think about women's issues, and they restrict it to the body. But there is no political struggle that women have not been a part of, whether that's agricultural struggles, war for peace, against police, for better rights, for the right to a home. So, yeah, this is like queer and POC writers and artists in Edinburgh that have come together to speak about prison abolition. This poem is from the zine. It's called Business Ladies, and it's just about all the women in different workplaces I've been in, where they've kind of taught me about women's issues and like fighting for better pay across loads of different pay scales. So this is called Business Ladies. What are the rewards of the competition covenant? Work on the double, book time away from that look when you say, oh, I'm just turning up early, working late, laughing off discomfort, slowly breaking my ankles for this, it's really nothing. There's a benefit, I suppose, to having someone to cry with in the stockroom after you've been cut down to a shapely size. A heavy reminder your hips are far too wide for whoever the hell made these damned work trousers. Made by someone earning a fraction of your half, trendy with the first office ladies, nylon raised us in status and money from nothing to some. Office ladies flex half-full paychecks on just girly things. Tampons, notepads, contraception, drugs, flowers, pepper spray, pens that get lost in the untouchable clutter that weighs on the hard shoulder of the commute. Useful for well-trained muscles that prod handsy guys in the busy bus lane. Shovel on, shovel off, pay no mind to the gap of time from home to office doors. They reflect the backs of night workers, office ladies off the books. They leave no trace with the service they provide. Clean up the leaving party, count your own years of service down the elevator ride. Top floor, a cage for top dogs. We bite back twice as hard in the back room. Between tears and regretful outpourings, their advances are not accepted. But when we reapply and re-enter the bullpen, the herd remains undisturbed. Till now, office ladies evolve with nothing earned despite the taking. Go hungry, skip lunch, poor office ladies. What counts as progress when double invisible work gives rise to only to new office blocks? Thanks. Okay. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks so much for being here to raise money for Edinburgh Rape Crisis Centre. I would say, before I go, please do engage with the other poets speaking here today, but also engage with people in your own life. Transphobia in Edinburgh, I think, is something that is just bubbling above the surface. But when people become radicalized, it's not so obvious. So transphobic comments, misogynistic jokes, we can't let these things go unchallenged. And again, I think it's just about puncturing that silence and puncturing normality. So thanks very much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much, JJ. That was fantastic. I loved the line, "This poem is a call to become unfixed." I think that's what poetry at its best always is. And I really appreciated that final poem because our next poet is someone who I very much met crying in a stockroom. I would like to say I was doing the crying. I feel it's better. You know, we shared. Tears mingled. But no, Alice Tarbuck is one of my favorite poets and one of my favorite people. I am so pleased that she is here today. She's a fantastic poet. She won a New Writers Award back in 2019 for poetry. She has a book called A Spell in the Wild out, all about magic, a nonfiction book. And she has an upcoming top secret project that I'm not allowed to tell you about, but it's really cool. So you should all follow her on social media, and in like 2 months you'll get to find out about it. And she also is part of the 12 Collective, a wonderful collective of female poets in and around Edinburgh who've got a book available to order from tomorrow called Pink Witch, which is also a really interesting and exciting anthology around a lot of the themes that we're talking about today. I love Alice's work because it really translates between different ideas and different forms, and it encourages us to always take another moment and look closely at the world. So, Alice, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's good. Thank you all so much. I'm wearing this pink jumper for a Barbie theme, but I'm so incredibly hot. So I feel like I can't take it off till I've done my reading. So thank you for bearing with me as I slowly turn the colour of a tomato. So I actually wrote this first poem as part of a fundraiser for a different rape crisis centre. And so this is a trigger warning for rape in this poem. It's not a particularly long poem. And then the next 3 that I'm going to read are all part of the Pink Witch book, which is released by Main Point Books tomorrow. This first poem is called Ariel. "Why don't you like to be touched?" he asks. And her voice says, "Pain." And her heart says, "Pain." And by the time it reaches the stomach and the vital organs, every window in the house has gone, so the wind can join in. Pain, as it blows around the room. Pain tastes like the sudden iron between jaws and legs. And this is not a rape poem, she tells him as she stops him. This poem can't be a rape poem. I will not let the poem of my life be a rape poem. And he looks at her with as much help as a mirror. And her fists fly only to catch on his glass edges, his glissando as he asks if she'd like an ibuprofen. Where is it? He asks her, this pain. And there aren't any words about pain that aren't void, that aren't disaster preparedness in the unkept dark corridor of thinking things. He says, there are breathing exercises we could try. And she thinks, mouth to mouth, let me suck out your air. And they try, but he isn't a vessel. His lungs aren't permeable membranes. He cannot feel it, he says. He is trying, but he cannot feel it. And you empty your pockets and pour out your shoes, and there are blades instead of shins for walking on land. You go in silence. And every step shouts for you, pain, pain, pain. Thank you. So the anthology Barbie, which is called Pink Witch, because we're not allowed to call it Barbie and the Witches because Mattel are extremely litigious. So Pink Witch came about through the big kind of publicity of the Barbie movie and all the conversations that are being had in Scotland around the pardon for people accused and tried and often executed for crimes of witchcraft. So this poem begins with an extract from James VI and I's Demonology, which was a book all about how to tell if someone was a witch. So this is Satanic Transformations, and the quote is, "Even so, I say he deceives the witches by attributing to himself diverse names, as if every diverse shape that he transforms himself in were a diverse kind of spirit." That is about the devil. Satanic Transformations. Barbie is a gay boy, meticulous, posable, broadly condemned. Barbie is inside me and her hair feels nice. Barbie is the body politic. Barbie spits on gender binaries. Barbie dives headfirst into watermelon centres, birthday cakes, discourse, my best friend's throat, legs over the gag reflex. Barbie knows praxis. Barbie takes her clothes off. Barbie has been receiving affirmative surgeries to look less woman, more robot, less flesh coating, less breathe, more underwater long-term survivalist. Barbie finds the clitoris beneath a pile of ribbons on the floor. Barbie rejects mulch to further persist. Barbie causes icebergs to melt. Barbie kissed crude oil, flipped her hair, replaced her head with an action man. Barbie is infinitely customizable. Barbie picks you up from school and lets you have an ice cream. Barbie's best accessory is your body. Barbie's best accessory is garden dirt. Barbie wants to decompose, but hasn't learned how yet. Barbie wants to demonstrate for equal pay. Barbie dances all night inside your diary. Barbie gets jazzed. Barbie regrets her youth. Barbie will never get an abortion. Barbie will always be infertile. Barbie stands outside Planned Parenthood to demonstrate the expense of child rearing. Barbie has 100 boyfriends. Barbie has 200 girlfriends. Barbie thought she was doing something, but she did something else instead because she read about the death of the author over your shoulder and now she thinks she's free. Thank you. So this final one is hopefully more of a hopeful and affirmative poem about intimacy. It's very short. This is called In Which My Therapist and I Discuss My Queerness. My mother disapproved of Barbie more. She disapproved of Ken. So when we were given Barbies, secondhand, all nude and lonely, they had to fuck the My Little Ponies again and again and again. Thank you.
Alice Tarbuck, everyone! I would have like a quip on something from the set, but I feel like that last line says it all. That is absolutely genius. Thank you so much, Alice. Guys, we have one final poet before we go to our interval, and she is one of my favorite poets in this scene, one of my favorite people in this scene. She is the Loud Poets Slam champion, Grand Slam champion from 2023. Yes! We did this massive nationwide slam tournament, and she goddamn won. She is currently touring her absolutely incredible, stupid, sexy poem show. I don't think I have laughed that hard or cried that hard at a piece of live theater, live spoken word ever. It was incredible. So please do catch it if you can. It's going to be on at the Glasgow Comedy Fest at the end of this month. But for now, please join me in giving a very loud, very warm welcome to RJ Hunter!
Thank you so much. Hi. Hi, good evening. My name is Rosie Jo Hunter. You can call me RJ. My pronouns are she, they, as in she is really hot and they're also very warm. I'm going to do 3 poems on the theme of International Women's Day and the most important women in my life, starting with a poem about my female friends and my AFAB non-binary friends. And this poem is called The Grievance. I hope you enjoy it. I am not happy with you right now. In fact, I don't think that I want to say anything else. Thank you. No, I'm kidding. I'm not sure if it's the fact that my bed sheets now boast your smell or the fact that your specific soup is now the only antidote when I don't feel well, but I'm not happy with you. That much I can tell. Maybe it's the way you saunter and swagger into a room while I stumble and thud. The way you sit in the corner smiling all smug. You know what you are doing. You know what you are capable of. You are fooling no one. And I know you think it's fun, leaving me lingering for more, one last tease before you're out the door, and it cuts me to my core because I really believe that kiss number 454 would have been enough for me. No, I'm not happy with you because, damn it, I think that I like you too much. When you leave, I am incomplete. The air around me misses your touch. I used to think you were a third leg. Now I can see that you are a crutch. And without you on my arm, I suddenly feel its weight and I capsize and stumble like some mindless ape, and it does not feel great. No, I'm not happy with you because I did not fear death until you taught me how to live. I did not fear freezing alone until I felt the warmth that your hands give. I still have your sieve. It's in my kitchen. Yeah, remember when you saw me try to strain pasta with 3 forks? Like a shit Wolverine. You wrapped your arms around me, called me a dork, and you lent me your sieve. And then you said, what would you do without me, you weirdo? And on the outside, I went, shut up. And on the inside, I went, I don't fucking know. No, I am not happy with you because I didn't realize that I could be this happy. I'm not happy with you because I would stay in your arms forever if you'd have me. I'm not happy with you because my stomach hurts from laughing. I'm not happy with you because since I met you, I haven't thought a damn thing that wasn't about how happy I am. I am not happy with you at the minute. I was hoping the meaning of life would be more profound than just having you in it. Thank you. Thank you so much. This next poem is about the women in my family, specifically my mother and my sister, who continue to be the biggest inspirations in my life to this day. My sister is a fellow trans feminine person who came out and transitioned at a really young age in a time where it still felt incredibly invisible, at least in our community. And she has been an inspiration for me to be my authentic self. And my mother has been an inspiration to be loud about being your authentic self as well. So this is a poem for both of them. All of the poems I performed tonight are featured in this handy pamphlet, Flustercock. It is for sale here for £6. And like Katie said, if you enjoy any of the work that I did today, I'm doing my solo show, the Stupid Sexy Poem Show, at the Glasgow International Comedy Festival, the Riding Room, which is in Polo, which is the gay club, so we're going for a dance after. But this poem is called The Magpie Tree. When I wake up, the first thing I open my eye to is the magpie tree. Bare branches visited by black and white feathers, no apparent nest, no real reasons for them to be there, but they appear nonetheless. Always one at first. I never realized one magpie meant sorrow until you told me. And now I think of you when I see one alone. But when I think of you, I do not think sorrow, I think strength. When I think of you, I do not think lonely, I think content. But the magpie is always joined by a second. Sometimes more, but often not, but always that one. And I understand why they symbolize joy now as I watch them explore. And I think of us when I see them together, because we have seen such sorrow side by side that every time I'm near you, I feel joy that we've both survived. A joy that can only be felt through sorrow. A subtle, honest laugh with a loved one at a funeral. Thank you. Thank you very much. And this will be my last poem for tonight, and it is addressing probably the most important woman in my life, and that is me. I knew that I was trans feminine from a very young age, and I always found ways to dilute it in a way of saying that I was comfortable with just using they, them pronouns, identifying as non-binary, keeping my birth name, to make it more accessible, dilutable, and subconsciously safeguarding the cis people in my life, including the ones that I held close and loved rather than the ones that I feared the opinion of. But I've suddenly learned since embracing my identity and making these changes in my life that if these people care for you and love you for who you are, they will see your transformation as winter into spring. And this is a poem that I wrote about reclaiming that autonomy for myself, and it is called Body Horror, and I hope that you enjoy it. Body horror. Horror body, I feel something on me, snarling, crawling, peeling away putrid, appalling layers of flesh, divots of mesh in my skin, soft to the touch, nicky rush as I feel my chest contort and compress. In this moment, I am in the shape of a dress. The moon is dressed as Saturn tonight. Clouds cross the middle to impersonate rings. It's funny how covering one part can change everything. Body horror, horror body. Nothing can be fixed till it's all broken, so hate me till cracks form. Berate me till this shell is torn. Hell hath no fury like a redacted, scorned. What am I? Why am I? Target me with your diatribe. Skin split, start to emit bad vibes. And I apologize. For in this moment I am in the shape of spite, body horror, horror body, miffed at the mist that makes most things foggy. I crave for you to see me as nothing more than skin and bone. Barely human, barely breathing, best left alone. Baby, I will not bite the hand that feeds. I will open my throat and let it recede till I bleed, till I purge every seed of the man you believe that I was born to be. Thinking if I fucking kill him, will you finally start seeing me in this moment? I am in the shape of restless thought, desperate. In this moment, I am in the shape of a landmine, press it. In this moment, I am every shape and no shape at all. Because my body is not my own. When bodies are prodded, pulled, and thrown around the wrestling ring of your toxic debate, when labels and pronouns you thrust upon me add more weight, autonomy is blown into a million tiny parts, into a million tiny wishes that I could restart as something new, something that I know to be true, something that your outdated ideologies cannot subdue, something completely and utterly separate from the horror body of you. Because I am my own body. I am not your fucking boy. And I am not your girl. I am my own amalgamation of everything that I value in this world. I am my own product. I am my own being. I am my own clumsy version of omniscient, all-seeing. I see the defamation that you throw on our name. I see your proclamations, your attempts to shroud us in shame, but your desperate attempts to darken sparks only fan flame. I am my own broken. I am my own beaten. I am my own chewed up, spat sat out not eaten. I am my own living. I am my own surviving. I am my own accession, my own thriving. I am my own. I am my own. I am my own. And you cannot take that from me. Under skin, past bone. I am my own. Body horror, horror body. I feel something on me. There is something more in me. Thank you. I'm RJ Hunter.
That was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. Can we have another cheer for all of our poets so far? So we're having a quick break. We've got 15 minutes, so we'll be coming back at 1:45. Go to the loo, go to the merch table, go tell a poet you love them. Go check out RJ's earrings, because they're incredible. And we'll see you back here at 1:45. Hey folks, is everyone feeling like fed and watered and yay? Georgia defiantly holds up her apple. Welcome back. I hope you had a fantastic first half. It was incredible. I loved it so much. So I organised the event that I wanted to see, and I hope you did too. Thanks so much to all of our poets who've read so far. That was absolutely amazing. We have 7 more voices for you in this second half, so we're going to kick things off. I am reading a couple of poems that have not been read in a while. And this first one is terrifying, because I would just like to say I wrote this in like 2017. You know, when we were all like, oh my God, 2016 is like the worst year I've ever been through? So this is when this came from, and it starts with a quote from the wonderful poem Rachel McCrum. Do check out her work if you don't know it. So it's called Bonfires, and the quote is, "They have survived nothing except this. We have survived a plague or 7 this year of zeros. Locusts have not yet come, but they will, you say. Stockpile sardines against apocalypse. The girls across the street sing louder, blunting razored slogans that chalk our hometown. Your fingernails scrabble at the edges of memory. We are stronger than bonfires." And then this is the thing. You have like your spoken word poets with their beautiful poems where they're like, it's a short one, it's just 3 minutes. And I'm like, it's a long one, it has 9 lines. So this poem I wrote because I am absolutely terrified of young women on nights out. You know, you see them and you're just like, oh my God, there's so many of you and you're so beautiful. You're so loud and you're so beautiful. Don't let them ever make you stop, you bronze-eyed goddesses. You've made this evening yours, and so you should. 3 parts swagger, all neon gold and sequins. Each bright bottle, camaraderie. Each dance floor bruise, a 3 a.m. confession. Dancing in the subway because you still know that you will rule this world. My bronze-eyed goddesses, don't let us ever make you stop.
Annie Rutherford, everyone! That last poem almost makes me want to go to Hive. It's right there, guys. It's right after party. Everyone, Hive. Not open till 5 currently, but that could change. Guys, we have some more tremendous open micers for you. So I just want to quickly check. So we have Sarah M. Davies, we have Tisha Sanchez, and we have Anna Lovelock. Do we have Leah Newland with us? No, That is all good. So we've got 3 open micers. Guys, I want you to give all of your love. I want to give a very, very warm welcome to the tremendous Sarah M. Davies.
I'm going to go here because I'm only little. And I'm not going after Galley. Yes. Wait, that's a loud poet's joke if you're not a loud poet. This is called Polished Perfection. Mirror, mirror on the wall, what do I see? Do I look like me? Which me do I need to be today? A reflection of my affection? A show of affectation? The carefully curated, the often underrated, the hot mess wise woman, the perfect human. Do I go with what I see, or create a painted me? Go more for what the world wants, polished perfection. Risk getting trapped in the mirror if I look too long. So I go for the me I see, whatever's there. Okay, maybe I straighten my hair. But the me you see is increasingly me, unapologetic, uncomplicated, authentic. Thank you. This one's called 55. Keep quiet and slowly fade into the background, please. Hide your knobbling fingers and your creaky knees. Wear saggy clothes to disguise your sagging body. Feel it shut down your reproductive capacity. See yourself shrinking, the weight of the world on your shoulders. Fuck that. Sorry, I never swear, but you know. I'm heartily embracing what it means to get older. See me feel comfortable with my body and choose to dress to impress only me. Get my hair cut short to emphasize the grey. Well, come on, to get this colour, how much would you pay? Paint my face or not. I like to see age's trace. Dress the way I choose, fittingly, for my day. Muted colours, shouty patterns, long, short, in between. Often stuff the younger me would have been too scared to be seen in. So fade away? Know my place? Hide my face? Nah. Grow older gracefully, grow older disgracefully. I'm 55. I'm feeling more alive than I ever have. Thank you. This one's called Coming Out. I've come out as a postmenopausal woman. I'm still all the things I was before, still a twice married mum of one, Jill of all trades, mistress of none, but I'm also postmenopausal, and I love it. Mostly because it's given me confidence. Confidence not to care what other people think, and confidence to do things I've always been too scared to do. So bring on the crone, bring on the wise woman. Basically, bring on me. Thank you.
Sarah M. Davies, everyone! To grow, the line "to grow old disgracefully" is yes, absolutely. That was absolutely brilliant, Sarah. Thank you so much for that. Guys, I want you to give all of your love to our next open micer. It is Tisha Sanchez.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Katie. Okay, so it was really hard to choose either this poem that I'm going to read or another one which was super heavy. But I remember every time I do a poetry reading, poets would come up to me saying, that made me really unsettled. Thank you. So it made me realize that I actually don't have like light and nostalgic poems. And people say like, you must go insane because of not having one. But I think I'm the most sane person for writing about genocide and anti-capitalism and anti-racism and all that. But for the sake of International Women's Day, the first woman I thought of was my late grandma, who passed away in 2012. So I wrote this one 2 days ago, actually. So this is about her. Love lives on, within things still traced with laces of her scent, the chipped off cement where her shouts would ring, be careful. That rust-covered swing like her throne, overlooking guava and sapodilla fruits that fall into her embrace. She is a blessing. We take for granted love that seeps into flowers from the water she pours. I swear they all looked dead inside after she left us. Nothing compared to her light. Nursery rhymes that creep into my ears. Kap kap udang, udang takap lepas. I don't think of childhood anymore unless it is a space where her love lives on. My baby brother arrived a few months too late, but he knows her, he says, he knows her. From within the belly, her love is the memory of a gentle caress, careful. Lullabies he never learned in his lifetime. Me and him and her the same. People say we tell stories in circles. There is no end. Bush long beaten. Only commas and semicolons. My best poems take 10 minutes to read. Peng lipur lara. Storytellers we are. The way we hug our right leg to our chests, and the right arm like a grapevine containing stories from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We sat like him and ate like him before we even knew. Our right hand faded to meet home-cooked food, 5 right fingers all licked clean for blessings that carry contentment through the cosmos. Me and her and him the same. There is no tragic end when our heels dig into each other's footprints on the right path, right there at the dinner table, right by her grave, right then in the labor room. It's as if we fold inwards to embrace those that came before. Our souls held hands first and our stories came after, like they did at the dinner table, and by her grave, and in the labor room. Every unthinking prayer and teardrop to say thank you for the meal, for the warmth, for the earth, for keeping the story going, for being here, even when you are not. We know our language of love, from her mother to mine, lives on. Thank you.
Tisha Sanchez, everyone! That was absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Guys, we have one final open micer for you this evening, and I understand that she's someone who's relatively new to the open mic. So because of that, I want you to give so much love. I want you to give all of the enthusiasm. Give a very, very warm welcome tonight for Anna Lovelock.
I'm so happy to be here, and I just wish there were tissue boxes at each table because this is like therapy. This poem is about parenting. I'm a mother of 2 kids, and I write a lot about that and the reality of having kids and being older. So this is called the... Oh, sorry. This is called the Tao of Parenting. Bend down and pick up clothes, cores, crisps, cups, cutlery, crumbs, and crusts. Respond patiently to calling, confining, confounding, cornering, and crying. Find a still center inside fears, tears, mess, stress, blood, mud, noise and toys. Tolerate a repetition of wailing, warring, wheedling, whinging, whining and wrangling. Practice acceptance of desires, emotions, feelings, impulses, needs and wants. Grow compassion within chaos, exhaustion, frailty, heartbreak, loss and sacrifice. Receive an abundance of awe, bliss, innocence, joy, grace, love, purity and wonder. Learn from the states of beauty, devotion, ecstasy, humility, intimacy and surrender. Thank you. I'm just trying to find my other poem. Unfortunately, the Facebook sort of shut down just before this bit. It'll get there. Not very exciting. So yeah, I write a lot about everyday life and how that affects me. And I like to see the beauty in the kind of mundane, really, because that's what a lot of women's lives are, really boring. And that's a big part of being a woman, in my experience. Sorry about this. Oh, there it is. So this one is called Condolences, and I wrote it after having our baby daughter and the news that we received when we had our baby daughter. So, condolences. There are some features in this baby girl which appear unusual. Her eyes have the soft, tapering shape of a beautiful silver birch leaf. The toes look consistent with the characteristics of a syndrome. Her feet are little silken purses from the inside of bunny rabbit ears. The oxygen levels are too low. Special care is needed for thriving. Her wee cry at birth holds the sound of dawn's first fragile bird call. The palms are centrally creased and the ears are typically small. Her head is a graceful orb of light which crowns her perfect body. We will test the blood for a duplicated chromosome, trisomy 21. Her tiny form is the pure personification and manifestation of love. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really powerful. And can we get a big cheer for all of our open micers again? The problem with being an event organizer is you go to any event, whether or not it's one you're organizing, and you're like, oh, that's something we could nix. So next time, tissues, we're going to have them. Next up, I'm thrilled to introduce our next feature poet, Amy Jo Phillip. Amy Jo is the first in many things. First ever pamphlet with the wonderful press Happenstance, who have a near and dear place in my heart. So I was really excited when I found that out. The first out transgender priest in the Scottish Episcopalian Church, which I think deserves a cheer. And I failed to write down an important piece of information here, but I believe the runner-up in the inaugural, yes, Marcella Althus Reid Spoken Word Theology Competition, which is a lot of syllables. I first heard Amy Jo read a couple of years ago at another poet's launch, and I have been looking for an excuse to program her ever since. I think she writes really beautifully about the ways in which joy and grief intertwine. I think that's something we've heard a lot about tonight. And really beautifully about that moment of revelation when you suddenly see the world differently. So, Amy Jo, over to you. Yeah.
Everything is running out at once. The breathable air, the unjaded news, my satin care shaving gel, my rosemary oil, shampoo and conditioner, the soil that will sustain a heavy yield, the snooze time on my sleep tracker app, my sunscreen and the summer sun, my Inky List redness relief serum, the shortened lease on my current flat, my bank account, my patience with the mockers, the haters, and the leakage from their meetings, minds and mouths, the space for us to live as uncowed members of society, the room for breakage without brokenness, my own degree of agency, our space to breathe, our space to be. Thank you. So the work that came second in the Marcella Althouse Reid Spoken Word Theology competition was a sequence of 13 sections, 7 in verse and 6 prose poems exploring my transition. Each of the verse sections begins the invisible woman something, and each of the prose poems focuses in on one incident from my life, starting through childhood and kind of coming up to quite recently. So I'm going to read 2 sections from that. They're not adjacent sections, but the first one is The Best Days. The invisible woman dreamt of being the new girl at my school, a questioning huddle around her at break time in the girls' playground, arms linked with a new best friend who saw her for who she was. But this was the 1980s. The dark tombstone of our TV screens, empty of anyone remotely like the invisible woman or me, who wasn't being played for laughs. A decade empty of anyone who saw. And that moment of seeing one's self for who one is. Crack. The first time she caught herself saying, I am a woman, she had nothing to show for it. Nothing apart from the barely perceptible crack in the sky through which her terror and relief wound like incense rising in the Holy of Holies, and through which a barely perceptible torrent of what? Call it mercy, like she'd never known, poured on her, washing her far more thoroughly than the shower that she had just stepped out of, humming. One more poem, but it is a long one, at least by my standards, certainly. The longest thing I've ever written in Scots so far. It's called 14 Sacks, or 14/6. It comes from the fact that the date of the day that I was given my first HRT prescription was the 14th of June, the year before last. But when I was reflecting on that, when it came to the anniversary, I was like, 14/6. John 14:6. Very famous verse in the Bible where Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And, well, I mean, how could I not? The way, the truth, the life. I mean, that was a gift, wasn't it? So I'm not going to gloss everything in here. That would take far too long. One word I will gloss is curn, or curnin, which is celebrate, celebration. I think most of the rest of it is probably fairly straightforward, apart from the last line, which is in Gaelic. So I'll I'll throw in a translation of that. Before we start, see if you can hold that in your mind till we get there. The truth is in whiskey, this is the way. Whiskey, of course, being in Gaelic the water of life. 13 sacks. This is the way we enter the scene. A he's a dram to the summer evening, and as a birl the glass, the crystal bracks the sunlight into water gauze, toty and fleetin', like a firework display seen frae miles off down the firth. Gonna balance the tumbler in my loof. Who mony years o' distillation do I haud with this, a malt poured out to kern a singular year's mind, the 12-month reformation o' my flesh. This is the way the world begins anew. No a bang, but a whisper. The canny-like redistribution o' the body's lipid wealth that brings to licht the truth kissed it ben for decades. Decades when naebody seen, naebody kent. When my ain cell couldn't on the fullness of the life that warsled to be me. They years when nobody else aroon is curried in the strachel for to fin their cells. They seem to be fleeing down a motorway, stracht and true, when yours is a queer-like gate. Oh, hairpins and hill starts. Welcome to Bo'ness. The styest of braes, a single-track road with just a puckle passing places, and a thrawn flock of glaikit sheep the other side of Ilka Bend. The truth starts out on its way, no on a lang stracht, like the roads the Romans bigot our were braes, but hirplin roon a rang turn after the other. Unca destinations set in error for hame. I was a muckle time langer in the cask, nor was the dram new in my horn. And the cask is nae braw and hamely place to bide, but a dark, dank, and dulsome steed. This is the way I had to demature, to fin the gate until my second life. Does ilka trans woman feel like this at near 50? Pilate speart o' Christ, whose life lay in the Romans' horns, mair fragile nor the whiskey glass in mine's. What is truth? A better question for the day. What is life? What does it mean to live? No just exist for ye day till the neist, at your darg, your mate, your sleep, but live in all the fullness you were macket for. Why did I no grund this life o' mine's in the truth afore almost half a century? Wheecht a wa hint me. It wasna fear its lane, what thrilled me to be in the man they cried me. It wasna just the village life, Thatcher's Britain, or the kirk that held me back frae speerin' out the truth o' what I'm are. Love, I played its part in the Mixter Maxter. Love, what etels no to wound, but in the etel turns awhang, tapsel teary, and gynier tines the hale shebang. Love's what opent the cask forby, unkissed at me in all my flavours. Love's what let me tack my gate to lean until the truth, to live. For all the sairest o' greeting, love is what I kern the day. For wha can loo her neighbour that doesna loo hersel? Ae time mair I birl the glass for to admire the lichtshaw it sends out in kernin. Ae swally mair to hease up to the gloamin' the joy o' my becoming. Ae thochty mair to leave you wi, dear reader, and an ishke behe in earin. Shin and clear. Thank you.
That was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. I think you always know you've got a good poem when you hear the poetry noise at the end. Did anyone hear it? Like, yeah, that was amazing. Thank you, Amy Jo. Next up is the ever wonderful J.L. Williams. Jennifer has 4 collections out, all with Shearsman, most recently Origin, and she really explores poetry at the intersections of different art forms. Many, many, many moons ago, she wrote poetry to advertise Lush perfumes, which continues to be one of my favorite facts. Much more recently, she was commissioned to write the 2023 English Touring Opera's children's opera, The Wish Gatherer. She's won an award for an evening of drag queen poetry put on together with Ian Morrison. You did? Is it coming back to you? And if I were to ever get it too, it would be of a quote from one of her poems. I love JL's work for the dreamlike, kaleidoscopic way that it makes us see the world, and I'm really excited to hear more of her tonight.
I feel so lucky to be here tonight. Thank you, beautiful poets, for your amazing poetry. Thank you. So, Alice told you a little bit about this Barbie and the Witches project. I'm quite scared now every time I say the word Barbie that like some Mattel helicopter drone is going to come down and take me away. We were like really warned, like you're not allowed to post the word Barbie anywhere. But yeah, I'm quite excited about this project. It was quite weird when it was first proposed to us because it was like Barbie witches. But actually once you start thinking about it, they're really 2 very, very complex representations of women in the world in all sorts of ways. And there are a whole bunch of wonderful poets who've written for this anthology. So I do hope you check it out. Not called Barbie and the Witches, called Pink Witch, because there's really interesting thinking in all sorts of ways around feminism and Barbie and witches. So anyway, I'm going to read you a couple poems of mine from this collection. The first one is called Opening. And it was also inspired by, I don't know if anyone saw it, there's an amazing show recently on at the Talbot Rice Gallery called The Tower. That was really, really special. But maybe Google it and check it out online because it's a really amazing piece. Opening. To build the tower, you must start with the bodies. There is no shame in this. The homosexual samurai cut off one another's fingers to prove to one another their love. Or slide a knife into a thigh, or caress a lock. You must take from the bodies what you love the most. There is no shame in this. The plastic ventricle, the plastic silver high heel glinting in the headlights of the truck. You must let go of expectations. You must forget about protecting yourself. You must sacrifice control. This is how the portal is bridged. This is how they used to talk to strangers like this, breathing out steam. There is no shame in this. The books are piled one on top of the other, the paper, the thighs, the breasts, the wings, the parted lips. This is how you build the tower. You open the mouths. You teach them how to sing by pressing against their bellies. You ask of them to sing. You walk unseeing in the darkness, led unseeing by the singers. There is no shame in this. This tower does not get tall. This tower does not lead down. There is no princess in this tower. There is no shame here. These bodies, these pages, they open up. Thank you. This one is called Screamer, and it starts with a quote from my daughter. She's 4 now. She was 3 when she said this. She's called Imogen. And to my surprise, she said, "I've been sent to you because your hearts are on fire." In the center of the flames, there is a diamond of pain. This diamond acts like a prism. It separates the light into every color. It separates the screaming into every sound. Look between the tongues and eloquence of rainbows. My Barbie house now is brand spanking clean as the day it was molded. Not a speck, not a freaking speck of dust on the pink sofa or the pink carpet or the pink bedspread or the pink dresser or the pink toilet. You could lick that fucking pink toilet. But still, my heart is on fire. My Barbie house is always clean. And my screaming, this screaming, y'all only hear it in your dreams. Come unto me, little screamer. I've been waiting all my life for you to put out this fire. Put out this fire in my heart. I wanted to ask you to do something with me, if it feels okay. You don't have to. I just wondering if we could all take a deep breath together. I'm going to put my hands on my tummy. You don't have to do that. And I was just wondering if you would put your arms around yourself and give yourself a big hug. And tell yourself, you deserve even more love. You deserve even more love. And I'd love it if you could do that for yourself every day. I'm going to give you one last poem. If I could stop crying. I'm just so moved by all the things people have shared this evening. It's really, really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you guys for organizing this. Thank you all for being here. And we've got even more great poems to come. I can't wait. 1/2 is night. Some days it is harder to fathom the loss of light, and words come as peacocks do to water. Nothing restrains night but day. Nothing holds against obliqueness but this clear heart, a burst bulb working its love like a strung-out whore. Callimachus, counter of volumes. Your patience reminds the legions that hope matters. Precision, the strength to mark one's own clock as it is stopping. Graffiti paints over the prophecy. The sun's red smear of lips gives up a sprayed-on glimpse of last night's promise. I'll remember each lit thing.
J.L. Williams, everyone! I mean, what a gift. I'm about to start weeping, so I will take up very little of your time at this microphone. Guys, we have one final performer for you this evening. She is someone who I've known for close to a decade, I'd imagine at this point. Too long. It's over after tonight. An absolute veteran of the Scottish poetry scene, of the Scottish spoken word scene. One of the most sort of powerful and inspiring and brilliant voices in our scene. It is a real honor to know her. She is the current Loud Poets Central Slam champion. She has a new pamphlet out, which you can buy over there. Guys, we have a little tendency at Loud Poets, we have a little tradition for our last performer of the evening called the Loud Rumble. So if you could get your feet tapping on the floor. You could get your hands going on your thighs. If you could build all of that noise up, start clapping, bring to the stage the incredible Georgia Bartlett-McNeil!
I know. I've been doing this, as Katie says, a long time. I've never had to use a music stand before, so this could go horribly wrong. And she's not done what Kev and or Mark usually do, which is make the mic stand ridiculously tiny. Because I am short. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I feel really bad because JL's words were so beautiful and so quiet, and I'm about to fuck your shit up. Yeah! I've got 3 poems to share with you. The first 2 are kind of ragey. I'm hoping the last one will be a bit nicer. No, it's nicer. They're all in the book, so if you like them, buy the book. They're taking up room in my house. My cat keeps scratching the box. Please, take them off my hands. Anyway, this first one is called The Dichotomy of Woman. And it's about how much online dating sucks. This is a man's world. This is a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing. I bumble along through the world of online dating, hoping somewhere I'll meet my perfect match. At every failed conversation, I find myself saying, okay, Cupid, it doesn't matter. I know I'm a catch and there's plenty of fish in the sea anyway. Keep gathering kindling, searching for Tinder, bashing the rock and the hard place together, trying to create a spark that'll catch. Build a bonfire of love that won't be over in a flash or look more meaningful to me than to the person on the other side of the app. I fucking hate this! Yet they say nothing can stand in the way of persistence, so nevertheless I persist. Continue to plaster my prettiest pictures on the digital pinboards and hope I'm someone's pick. Hope that the next person I speak to isn't a prick or isn't feeding me just the right words to try to get me to sit on his dick. At this point, I'm simply unhinged. I thought I was an elite single, my own flat, my own car, a good education, a good job, plus I have all my own teeth. And I'd like to think I have a fairly decent personality, and where that fails, I have a shit cat. But I have so many hobbies. I play sports, I do poetry, I play video games, I watch movies, I play 4 instruments, I do photography, but somehow that's still not good enough for someone to want to spend a life with me. I get well-meaning friends that say, just go and get laid, but that's not my style, that isn't really me. I can't throw myself at the first person I see, lie back, spread my legs and scream for them to just take me. I need a connection with some e-harmony. And I will accept that I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm too loud, too chatty, too soft, too curvy. Excessive is perhaps the best word you could use to describe me. I'm an independent, badass, boss bitch with a hint of needy. I'm kind, and I'm smart, and I'm honest, and I'm strong. But if that's not your thing, then don't string me along. Don't get my hopes up. Then ghost me when I've given you what you wanted as if you had a right to it. Or not accept a no as a valid answer because, come on, baby, we're young, baby. We've got nothing better to do, baby. I said no! I said no. I said this body is too sacred. I'm trying so hard to unlearn my intrinsic hatred of it. It is too precious a thing for me to give to you, only for you to return it if it doesn't fit the way you thought it would. The way you thought it should. So here's a little tidbit. You can have this one on me. I do not exist to bridge the gap between what you want and who you need. Man may have made everything, but man sure as fuck didn't make me. This is a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing, not one little thing, without a woman or a girl. Thank you. The next piece I'm going to do, I think it can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. I wrote it primarily about generational trauma and the way the people in my family are, but I think it can also extend to a lot of the bigotry we experience in everyday life, especially that comes from the places that you grow up thinking are safe. So this is called When the Person You Love Most in the World is a Gun. This will end pretty abruptly. I will give you a moment to decompress. When it ends, you'll know. When the person you love most in the world is a gun, it can be hard learning how to stay safe. When their safety switch is forever in the fuck knows position, when the ancient proverb of play stupid games, win stupid prizes surprises you every time with its truth. But I never thought it was a stupid game to love you. And I'm forever having to tell myself that I shouldn't have to be afraid of you, of the shit you say and the things you sometimes do. When the person you love most in the world is a gun, you ought to take some lessons. Clutch them tight to your chest and open in your mind. Keep the gun safe in the safe and only take them out when you want to or need to. Do not leave them out in the open. Know that they can turn on you whenever they decide to, that they've not done the work to know which chambers house the bullets, and by the time they figured it out, it's already way, way too late. They will leave wounds apologies cannot heal. So now I store my cartridges in a different place. I've learned the art of the dodge and of redirection, how to keep their ammunition from penetrating vital organs so that their vile vitriol, when it comes, and it will, does not make a home out of my heart. When the person you love most in the world is a gun, sometimes they can make you feel so powerful. It is all right when they are on your side, but only they can decide when that timer runs out, and they'll catch you out with a bang. It'll get you off guard every time, whether you've had your safety lessons or not. When the person you love most in the world is a gun, you are perpetually playing Russian roulette, and there is only one winner. Click. You tell them you love them, and they say it back. Click. They act like they understand when you have a panic attack. Click. They come down to visit and you have a great time. Click. You find yourself thinking everything will be fine. Click. They start a huge argument over something insane. Bang! Another metaphorical bullet lodged in the brain. Days later, they apologize. Or sometimes not. They don't give their reasons for going off. They won't help you clean up the blood from the floor. They'll just leave you with a sodden cloth when the person you love most in the world is a cun. You cannot expect them to understand how they hurt you. They're hurt too. Not that that's an excuse, but they're too scared to understand what it was that frightened them in the first place, so they see threats everywhere, ghosts in dreams or shadows in a mirror. There's a reason we use the verb to trigger. When the person you love most in the world is a gun, you have to treat them with care, even when they don't deserve it. You have to make them feel safe, click. You have to cut them some slack, click. You have to tell them you love them, click, even when they can't say it, click, even when they won't say it, click, even when they don't say it, bang. I remember I did that poem at Lost in Leith a while ago, and I finished it, and someone from the back row just shouted, "Fuck!" And it was like the most seen I think I've ever felt doing a poem on a stage. It was so graphic, but it was so funny. This last poem, so my pamphlet's called Heritage. It was written about my racial identity. I'm a mixed race woman, in case it wasn't blatantly obvious, but in fairness it might not be, because I'm very fair skinned for a mixed race woman, and it's about, you know, my identity and the stories that the women in my family have left behind. So this last poem is called For Women, and it's about me, my mum, my nana, and my great grandmother. We are all Scorpios. Yeah, I like to think that we're distilling the perfect Scorpio. So if I should have a daughter, may she be a Scorpio, or maybe that's just me asking for trouble. The women in my family are stubborn. The women in my family are all bark and all bite. The women in my family are strong. The women in my family shine bright. Through me, through our direct line, there are 4 of us, all held together, standing single file, eldest daughter to only child, represented by golden thread. We are queens. I tell my stories, and I tell our tales with permission given, because to ask is courtesy. Our history is too full of people taking, so I refuse to add weight to the hypocrisy. I am the top of our collective tongue. I am the mouth of us that speaks, but I am twig stemmed from branch, branch from limb, from limb, from. In our family tree, my mother and I are lighter bark grafted onto darker histories, but we do not go without casting our own long shadows. We are 4 women that span an entire century. My great-grandmother, Elaine, born November 1920, or thereabouts. My nana does not remember. My nana, Myrna, born November 1940, loving and giving. My mother, Deborah, born October 1964, fair of face. And me, Georgia, born November 1994, full of grace. Or maybe that rhyme was a lie for its time. We are 4 women. 2 dragons, a monkey, and a dog. Not Aunt Sarah, Sophronia, Sweet Thing, or Peaches, as Nina once sang, though we carry stories like theirs within us. We are 4 great rivers leading into the ocean of our family. We nourish, we feed, we run rapid and wide, white foam atop dark beds, home for many things that go unseen. Distilled like good whiskey, cut from a template we could only grow outwards from. No interest in being withheld from our birthrights or our heritage. 4 scorpions of fixed modality, bejeweled with both pincers and stings. Small in stature, yes, but mighty. Thank you so much.
Georgia Bartlett-McNeil, everyone!
What a way to close it out. What more is there to say? So we will be very brief. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I have experienced, I think, every emotion a human can experience. And I'd imagine it's the same for many of you. So thank you for joining us. To everyone who performed, thank you for sharing your stories, for sharing your realities, for sharing your beauty. That was so empowering and stunning. For everyone who came to listen, I hope that you take things from this. I hope that it was a well that can feed you, that can nourish you as we go forward. As you may have noticed, we have been filming this evening, so we will be putting up some of the performances from tonight on our YouTube channel. If you are interested in that, you can talk to Kev over at the desk. You can talk to me. You can sign up for our mailing list. Guys, please do buy books. Please do buy more Weird Eclectic badges. And if you want to donate further, there is a donation link there.
Huge thanks to the Scottish Storytelling Centre, who, when we approached them last Sunday, were like, sure.
Yes.
You guys aren't insane, sure. So huge thanks to all of the staff. They've been absolutely incredible. We couldn't have done it without them. And thanks to all of you for coming. This has been absolutely amazing. Have a wonderful International Women's Day.
Thank you, everyone. This has been Speak Up.